I think she started the recording.
Oh. Attendance, we have Courtney, Al Raymond, and the two of us. So there's four of us here. We have people advisory here. And Patrick. So we have the minutes of the January 7th meeting. Courtney or Al, would you be able to vote on those?
Yes,
Okay,
I can make a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
okay, the motion's made by Courtney. I'll second. Okay, and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Al, are you on?
He was absent that day too.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm at the
Sweet.
school gym, so I don't know how loud it will be.
Okay, so you're. Point well taken, Al. Al, would you be abstaining from the minutes because?
Yes, I'll be abstaining. I wasn't at the last meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, under new business, we have a new at-large member. And it's been recommended that Heather Spencer, who was a board member prior and on this committee, would like to be appointed as an at-large member. I did check to make sure there is no freedom of information issue with having 3 Board of Selectmen, which is a quorum on this committee, and there is not an issue. The Board of Selectmen people that are on this board will have to be a little careful about voting or weighing in on things that would then be voted on by the Board of Selectmen, but that's up to them to figure that out. So a motion would be in order to have Heather Spencer appointed as an at-large member.
I will make a motion to have Heather Spencer be appointed as an at-large member to the ad hoc school committee.
So the motion's made by Courtney.
I'll second it.
Oh, let Al take it. Seconded by Al. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Al, yes.
Aye.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Okay, you can come up this way if you'd like. Welcome
back.
aboard.
Welcome back.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving.
So the next item on the agenda, Liam, sorry, I forgot your last name.
Goldrick.
Goldrick. Will kind of be driven by you, correct? Because you've got the slides and all of that. So Mr. Goldrick will be the one that will be sort of leading that discussion. Flourish.
I can help too. I wonder if, I can't recall, I know Liam has come to the Board of Ed. I know that, there's been conversations, with town leadership. But I don't know, has everyone here met Liam or?
He was on
Okay, all right, perfect.
there last time.
The meetings blend versus ad hoc and Board of Ed, so,
It's okay.
so I apologize on that. And then, I know we have some new members, so David, were you part of the meeting with the Donovan group at any point?
The last meeting.
Was it? All right, so everyone's caught to speed, sorry.
So,
I was struggling to keep up which board has done what. And Liam, you can hop in at any point. So in the packet, if you look behind the minutes, you do have the slide deck. You do have the draft of the FAQ, and you do have the video storyboard. Just to provide clarification exactly what the video storyboard is. is we had a local photographer go around each of our schools that was discussed, I believe, at the last meeting. Take pictures of all the problematic areas to help inform the community and parent groups as far as the age and condition of our buildings. Those pictures and photos just got completed and shared with the Donovan Group Monday or Tuesday, might have been Tuesday yesterday. But in preparation to receiving them, they had built essentially a storyboard to turn that into a video. So a short video that can be put out and share essentially the condition and kind of like the reason and rationale behind some of that work. Is that accurate, Liam?
Lane, did you want to use the board? Are you linked into our meeting? Are we showing anything on there?
not,
No?
I'm
Oh,
not, but
that's
as long
fine.
as the
We have
people up
print.
there have access to the materials, they can probably see things through the packet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know as far as like the materials for the parents, we had talked about essentially having the trifold available, which we have been handing out at meetings. From there, I'll let Liam take it as far as kind of like the materials that will be provided, kind of the format of the materials, how the FAQ will look. Like what you have is essentially just the draft. Certainly want to get feedback on the FAQs along with the slide deck, because that was what was shared at the last meeting. I believe you can elaborate as far as kind of like the stand up of how the term there, the renderings. So from there, let Liam kind of take it as far as like walking us through the materials.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Patrick. So, yeah, what's in your packet is limited. We're going to be creating more promotional materials, both for that meeting, but also sort of for the future as well. The slide deck obviously will be, kind of a feature presentation, which will be integrated into that community meeting at the latter part of the month. But it's also a deck that can also be used moving forward with some tweaks or changes or additions for other types of presentations around the community. The photos are fantastic. They're extremely vibrant, and they will, I think, go on to live in a number of different places. They will be sort of the highlight, or the centerpiece of the video that we will put together that will be ready to be shown at that community meeting, but they will definitely find a place as we update the website. And other types of materials that we put together. A few of the things we're working on or even already have in hand that aren't present in this packet is we've worked on a news release, some direct messages to families and community members, social media items. You do have the FAQs in here, and I think the main place frequently asked questions will live for projects like this will be on the website. I mean, they're lengthy, they're long, but they're a great place. They're a great resource to send people to with questions. A lot of questions that arise during an activity like this, can be answered by the FAQ. They're also something that can find their way into talking points for people that are talking to members of the community and asking questions about that. One other thing we're going to be working on is a standing banner also that can be used for the community meeting that can provide a QR code, lead people to what will become an updated website, but also just kind of showcase, sort of the need at hand that we're trying to communicate here in East Windsor. And I think these photos, or a couple of the photos anyway, a few of the photos will find their way into the design of that standing banner. Because, I think I said this at the last meeting, but, our philosophy as we work with school districts around the country on bond referendum facility bond efforts is really to have that engagement and have that communication with the community about the need, not just the solution. A lot of folks in the community are not paying anywhere near as close attention, if any, at this point, compared to the people that are present in a room like this. And I think one of the traps that some districts will fall into, especially as the referendum effort moves closer and closer eventually to election day, is the conversation becomes purely about the solution. But it's almost like people that show up to a parade late. They haven't seen the parts of the parade that have gone earlier, and you have to sort of catch them up. So you really need to constantly bring people back to the beginning, and the whole reason any school district pursues a referendum like this is because of that need. So it's really important to continue communicating that until you're just bored of saying the same thing 100 times, because a lot of the people you're going to be talking to are going to be hearing it for the first time. And it's really important to couple the conversation and the opportunity for community members to engage about the need that's present in the school facilities, while then eventually transitioning to that conversation about, okay, what do we do? What's the solution? What are the details around that? We don't want the conversation to be solely about, money, solely about a ballot item. It's fundamentally about your students, it's about your staff, and it's about your facilities meeting or not meeting their needs moving forward. So that needs to be a constant part of the conversation, really until the end.
So do you want to start going through the slides?
It's absolutely okay. We can do that.
That all makes a lot of sense.
I think if you go to, for the folks in the room, if you go to page 3 of the meeting packet, or if anyone's following the digital version, the slide deck starts on page 3, and we've really just tried to brand it for the district, and basically use it as a starting point for a conversation, which will happen at the meeting later this month. Just providing a little bit of a background, where we've been in terms of how have we gotten to here, February 26th, the work the district has done in the past in terms of thinking about applying for grants, studying possible construction, looking at some of the flaws and some of the issues within the schools, and then transitioning from there to kind of what the aim and what the goal is. You've got sort of a that the youngest school operated by the district today is 60 years old, which is that's pretty old. And I think that's one of the things you want to help people understand, is that you're dealing with some pretty dated facilities.
Can you
And-
go to the previous
Yeah.
page that has where we've been at the top of the page? And one of the, I've made notes on some of the slides. So not on that page, the next page. It talks about consultants determined, you know what? I answered this question. I'm sorry.
I actually had a question on the previous.
Oh. So do you want to take questions as you go, or do you want to?
That's fun. We
Okay.
can do that.
And Jason and Joe, you probably could help a little bit with this. I know when we partnered to explore the HVAC, I don't think that was 2023. I think that was,
I think it was earlier than that.
yeah, it feels longer.
21 or 22, because that was ARPA dollars. That was state ARPA dollars.
So 21 was in the middle of COVID, so it might have been 22.
It wasn't 23.
We need to look at that.
2022 sounds correct. I think it was
2022, but it was like right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think when we say we partnered, that was like when we said we were going to explore, that was just by the time we actually moved forward and reported on it, it was at least 23 or 24. I remember it was February. I don't remember what year.
You're talking about the meeting in the elementary school or the middle school?
Yeah.
That was February 24.
Okay, yeah, so when we first initially said we're going to explore that and just had the initial conversation, that was probably 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because at that point, we were talking about options A through E or G or something.
Yep, that was February. Yep.
So that was February 24.
In that same slide, just a little editing there in the second bullet, there's two those. Progress began after the.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. Thank you. Didn't even see that. Okay. So I answered my own question on the next page.
Oh, yeah, and then the February 2024 is there.
But for that date, 2023 should say February 24 or
No, the first, on the one, this should be, so here it's
one
2022.
was say 22.
And the other one is correct.
I think we're onto the page that has our goal at the top with the picture of the children. Does anybody have any comments on that one? I have one small comment. Although we want to certainly modernize our teaching and learning standards, I think something should be said about the safety. Because our facilities are not nearly set up for today's current. And I don't want to make it sound like our kids are in danger, but that's certainly been a concern that we address all the current safety requirements that we should have. Okay.
Any other comments on sort of the goal? If not,
I
pivot
mean,
over to the school.
It may change my mind, but if we're saying safety, it's just more wondering, do we include technology? Because I see like when you're talking about facilities and the upgrades to security, a lot of them are related to technology as well.
Okay.
You think instead of saying safety, we'll say, like EH&S type stuff, so it kind of encompasses everything, to make it sound more like
Nobody,
environmental and health.
I don't know what that.
I don't know. anything.
we don't know what he.
So you know what? I'm gonna change my position. Go ahead and say that.
So
Hey, nobody likes.
the health of the school and safety of the school.
Thinking of that.
It's sometimes safety is like what Denise says, you know, people might get
Right.
safe, we're not safe, you know,
Right.
that at least maybe make them ask a
Security.
question. Versus come to with.
So what's EH&S?
Environmental health and safety.
Is that environmental, comma, health, comma, safety, or is it environmental health, comma, and safety?
It could be a comma, depends how you look at it.
Well, it's like don't eat grandma, right? So I mean, it means like different things depending on where the comma is.
No, reindeers on. I would say, yeah, environmental health and safety. So it is considered environmental health and safety. So you could put a comma between the two.
We're stretching it out so much.
It's like the classic.
I don't know
Security.
Might even be before race.
Security and safety. Very self-explanatory.
Thanks for those comments. The next page, we start to look at, you know, the individual schools, just kind of providing, you know, a little bit of the data on the age of the buildings, but then, you know, those individual needs, the specific needs that the buildings have. So obviously we want to make sure those are accurate.
We weren't sure about the age of the buildings. One of them is not correct, we thought. I'm not sure which one.
I think it was both Broadbrook and East Windsor High School. That being said, I've,
Fifty-three or 59?
East Windsor High School's 55.
yeah, I-
55.
Yeah, here my dad was born.
yeah, and I believe elementary is 59.
Just what you have in the tribe.
Well, yeah, you joking.
Oh, that's what the trifold says.
Yeah.
Walk out front, and look at the.
Kyle, what were we saying?
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
The banner says 1951 in the picture.
Yeah, but in 1959 is when the town hall burned down. And at that point in time, the elementary school and town hall were in the same building.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the fire station is now. Beautiful building.
I'll run down and read the plaque if you want.
So that banner.
Oh, we
could
have to
just
get
be
that corrected. So
School, not the building.
Wadsworth is 50.
50, so look,
He's going-
the school is, if I understand correctly, it sounds like the school origin was 51,
Yeah.
but was in a different building.
Oh,
That's what I'm
Oh,
following.
okay.
But the actual, so if we're actually talking about the facility and the building itself, it's 59 is the way I'm
That
following.
makes more sense.
I mean, we can also say it's so old, no one can,
Remember how old it is. No, that would be us. So we're so old, we can't remember.
I think when this building was put in, the road. Because there's a manhole cover that's right outside the door here, and there's no reason there should be a manhole cover there, but for that the road actually has
Okay.
changed from its original angle.
You could have those. Long time ago.
I was. Long time ago. So we'll check on the years, but also I'm pretty involved in all of this and I don't know what MEP is, so I think maybe other people.
Mechanical, electrical, plumbing.
Well, you may know
You
that.
can write that out.
Does Rick know that? Well, maybe Rick.
I still think you should go like the 3 words. You could always just write it out, that just
Yeah, write it
put
out.
it, just regular, just so moving forward.
Right.
Maybe see.
Uh-huh.
Robert Elementary, the last bullet point, the door and hardware systems create safety concerns. To get back to your point about,
Alarming.
yeah, I might say something about code, like code compliance or something to that effect, because that word safety, I think.
Yeah, it's a good comment too, yeah, and that's in all 3 of them,
The EHS.
Yeah.
so there might be a little more sensitive way of putting that.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's a good one. That's in all 3.
And, in terms of the photos that immediately follow some of these slides, we're going to want to make sure. Obviously, we provide a little bit of context with some of these photos, because I
Yeah.
think in most cases, people aren't going to know necessarily what they're looking at, right? Unless you're
Yeah.
an expert in this stuff, I'm looking at these, fan blades hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not exactly really sure what that is, and that's probably true for other people.
Yeah.
So I think we'll want to put those photos into some context.
I agree.
We'll need some help probably, from folks here in the district to identify exactly what all of those are, and also what school as well, they're associated with as well, so. But I know we just got those, so we'll have some time to kind of sift through them and identify what's what.
Would you put captions in them or?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're using them in the slide deck, I think absolutely we can, put some captions in them. Same if we use any specific ones on the website as we update that, we'd want to put a little caption under each photo there too, or any other time we use it, just so we're kind of clear what school it is and what it's, what the photo is communicating.
But you won't be using all of these photos. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. Obviously, I think we'll kind of take a look at a lot of them and kind of make determination based on if we're putting it into some sort of a design, what fits, and same with the website. I mean, the website obviously we could put a bigger photo array there, but we might want to showcase certain things over others for a variety of reasons. So.
Okay, so once we get past the photos, we're on to charting a new path.
Yeah, charting a new path. And then this is sort of, kind of from where we are today, angling forward. That first part is sort of the need that I was talking about in my prior remarks. And this is kind of now where, okay, where do we go from here? So, obviously make sure that the charting a new path kind of articulates, kind of the current status and who's, the committees and various groups that are working on this. And then,
I think that last bullet too, because I think sometimes we differentiate between community members and parents. And so like the committee has both.
and do you use the term, parents? Do you like parents and caregivers? Do you say families here? I know that the term is a little bit different district to district in terms of the preference.
I think in this case, parents are fine. If we put out messages, typically it's parents and guardians.
Okay. Yeah, and then the next two slides are really about, the proposal, and this is obviously, just a very top line, a summary in terms of renovating to new at the elementary school and then creating that combined campus for both of the upper schools, the middle and high school. And the second slide is really about which one is the higher priority of the two elements. And I know there's a lot of complexity to that and a little bit of uncertainty in terms of potential legislative action in terms of what will be made achievable. So that narrative obviously will change over time, but right now, it may be worth kind of leading people through those potential decision points in terms of what may happen moving forward, knowing that eventually there'll be a determination of what's realistic in terms of going to ballot.
Hi, Jim.
Any comments or questions about those kind of
No.
top level proposal slides?
More on the next couple slides for me.
Yep. And then there's a couple of photos of the renderings there from the architects, obviously.
Rendering.
And then from there, you move to some cost estimates. Any questions? Is there a need for maybe put some more detail?
Well, I talked to Patrick about that, and I think if we just go with what this number is, that will be the number that will be out there forever as we're spending million and, $150 million, and there needs to be something that qualifies that that's before grants or something.
Yeah, so I
Put
mean,
something underneath.
Yeah.
Subject to change.
I would even consider omitting that at this point. Because I mean, we're talking, I don't know what the timeline is on this, but we're talking about an answer that will be more clearly known by the first week of May. It's the first week of September, or, February now. By the time this is ready for the streets, why even do that?
do you put the target?
I would put the target reimbursement rate and that we're waiting on legislative action for that. That's all.
What the cost is at the target, like reimbursement rate. So like 80% of
96
98
million.
is, like just under 20 million on that first one. And then the second one is.
I would be more comfortable with that
Me too.
for shenanigans purposes.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. I mean, again, with anything like this, you want to lead with transparency, but there's also complexity. And if you do put a number out there, I mean, I agree that people can then sort of hang their hat on that. And, it's definitely not what your final number is going to be after the,
Right.
after potential state action. So I think that's probably a good, I mean, I think a good move because you don't wanna etch something into stone. That's not gonna be the final number.
I also think a reasonable person would understand that, with projects of this scale, prices are likely to change. Prices are likely, and when you say prices are likely to change, everybody can understand when a project costs more than you thought it was going to reasonably. Nobody's gonna believe you when you say it's gonna come in tens of millions of dollars cheaper than you thought. Like,
Yeah, well, right, you're hiding something.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we still get people who are accused us of hiding things on the community center, which is closed out and reimbursed by the vets. I mean, it's done. There's nothing to hide. But people still have that, you can't possibly have done it for what you said you were going to do, it approach to things.
The only thing I would say though is this has already been passed out. It has that number in it.
Uh-oh.
So it's already.
That's already been, so we could do that, I mean, but.
And what about a chart more like this where it has a reimbursement
Yeah.
on the same chart
I
as
think who was in here? Probably what you've already put out there.
I know what it's on the next slide. Reimbursement.
Maybe
If it was the same
focus the
chart.
slide deck then on the local costs at the 80% target reimbursement.
I might just take whatever this is. I mean, you've already got it done, but if you put all the information on the side, then at least you can have the conversation about.
But I think you still have those as the raw numbers, and those are the numbers that some people are, you know, how people can just twist stuff, and that's the numbers, and you don't know how you got to anything other than that, and.
Liam, I'm wondering like when, as far as like the video, as far as identifying, like within the video, also highlighting the target range. So it's another way to get it out there. As far as that number, as far as, is that possible as far as that,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Visually on this, marrying the slide deck with this, I think that you kind of amend this a little bit, saying like, this is the project cost. This is what the cost is at 63%. This is what the project cost is at 80% with a big red circle around. That's our
target.
that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. And then with an arrow. Yep. That makes,
Yeah.
yep.
You are here.
Yes, yes.
You can even do it like the target cost first, then the current, and then show like the total cost if you got nothing. So it's like the last number they see, where they might not look at it like oh, yeah, because they know we're gonna be talking funding, we're gonna be talking grants or whatever, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, so this is what it would have cost us if we didn't get that. So it might be a diffuser in some ways.
I like that.
Have all that, Liam?
I do, yeah, and we have a check-in tomorrow too. We can kind of tie a ribbon around that. But yeah, I mean, I think being explicit about cost and being straightforward about it, and helping people understand sort of what the cost is to the community is really important. And there's definitely like a little added complexity to how Connecticut pursues this compared to other states where it's a little more straightforward. There's like very set and established reimbursement rates. So that's going to be, that's something that people are going to need to understand too. The ones that want to go deep in it and sort of understand the process, but there is a complexity here, which makes it a little more challenging to be, super clear just because, right, you don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be. So it's hard to communicate that clearly and distinctly at this point in the process. It's an extra reason why all that need conversation is also really important. So ideally people don't get fixated on a little bit of a moving target right now. So cost estimates, the slides right after that, there's really two more kind of substantive slides. And they both deal with sort of next steps where we go from here. And this is where, we do see those percentages about the two different kind of potential percentages with regard to reimbursement rates. And then sort of the intersection with the town in terms of their role in moving this project forward. So thoughts, I think, Patrick and others, you probably have some thoughts on the details on these two slides.
I have, and I've shared them with Patrick, and it looks like you've got the scribbling. I'm very sensitive, having been and Board of Selectmen too, that I don't want it to look in any way like the Board of Selectmen could give us 40 million if we wanted, but they only want to give us 30 million. And I think the wording here could be interpreted that way. So I don't know if there's got to be a better way to say that, without it looking like they're holding back something.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we just delete, like, get rid of that top.
The first line.
And Board of Selectmen has indicated the ability to recommend up to 30 million, and then make a bullet that there still leaves additional capacity for like other town
Isn't that a
projects.
better way?
I do like both those ideas.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. Because we don't want to look like we're taking all the money.
How about say something that just, being mindful that there's other projects that are need in town or something, then that way I think it might make people reading this go, oh, okay,
They're not so greedy that they want to take all our money and we
Yeah.
can't, we won't have roads for the next 20 years. And the last, that last little bullet that you have, simple majority, that really isn't necessary. Again, I talked to Patrick today, we met today for the agenda for next week, and he said that might have something to do with, you do this all over the country, so it's important elsewhere, it's not, I don't find it to be important here. Does anybody?
yeah, I don't think that's. I think I could see it interpreted a different way.
Yeah.
If we can get rid of that. Yeah, in some states, you need a 60% majority to pass projects like
So
this.
this is good news for us.
It is good news for you. Simple majority is good. It's good news.
This is a great, so this is what we could use at the meeting later in February. So do we need to meet again to see the changes you make, or how do we want to do that?
I think between myself, you and Jason, we can,
You okay?
like,
I'm okay with that.
Just email it. You guys approve it?
Yeah, once we're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
We'll email it to
So we
everybody.
see it.
Yeah.
Blacker was covered out front. Snow. But the, town records show it was 1951.
This building was 51? Wow, it's even older.
1951.
I was born, that's a long time ago.
so as we present, we can say, as we started, the building has even gotten older.
It's really, really old.
That's what the property card says, and I would go up if I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, looking at the agenda, looking at number 2, it ties back to the presentation. So I know it has my name on the presentation, but I think it'd be important to discuss like the agenda, the format, as far as myself, Jason, Denise, you as chair, like presentation style along key messages, and even, like the format of the agenda. Is it so much so that we're having a structured agenda, or is it presented more kind of community form where it's a presentation and then just followed by a simple Q&A? I know we briefly discussed it, but I don't know if we ever came to any kind of like conclusions on how that's going to look like, or what it looks like once the day's here.
That's kind of what like a presentation and then, back and forth with the public.
I think that would be.
It's sort of like a town meeting kind of thing, public hearing kind of thing. But I'm just one person. What do you all think?
I think so. That's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, Rick?
Get people engaged.
Yeah.
How does, so if we post it, what does the posting look like?
This we did talk about as to how you wanted to have that posted. I think that we could do it jointly between the BOS and the BOE. I think the appropriate place to do it is through the ad hoc committee, but I think the point that came up in our conversation is that nobody would really know what that is, and thereby be less likely to participate in that regard. Without that as kind of the primary option, the other alternative I like is to do a joint thing between the two boards and to have the three of us as the spokespeople for it. I would be very happy to take a very back seat to that.
And then, yeah, and then internally we could figure out, all right, I mean, that works for me.
So that goes to the, well, really the agenda and the format. And this slide presentation would be the messages, right?
Correct. I would think like it basically it's a presentation, you present it using the slide deck, and then you just open it up for Q&A and engage the public as far as allowing both comment and questions to be answered.
Yeah.
As an effort to inform the community and as well as the parent group.
So we need
I
to get
just want to say, I think the last time we had the Board of Selectmen, Board of Ed combined like community engagement thing, which was held, I believe, in the middle school. I thought it was really successful. So
right, like in 22, that was,
yeah, that was a long time ago, but
it was a long time.
I thought that
February
was kind of
24th.
really
February
nice, and
24, yeah.
we had quite a bit of engagement at that one as well, which was nice to see.
So similar to that.
Can we do it in the other time? I think that might be, I know doing for middle school, there was a purpose at that time, but I think doing it at the high school would be more appropriate, just. Yeah.
I think it might be less intimate. Then you're sitting on a stage.
Sure.
And you're kind of talking
No, you're
at people.
Yes.
whereas You're sitting kind of equal to everybody else.
That's a lot easier to like walk, like versus walking up, like walking next to them, like whether it's a mic or they come
Yeah.
up. It's,
Abbey Road. Do that if you want to. You know, I mean, that's an available resource. My preference would be to use a school.
School.
We're talking about a school project, but that is just as a matter of, record, that is certainly something that place was designed for.
Talking about being able to show people some of the
School.
school
We did
parts
have
that are like,
Finals fall out of this.
Yeah. I'm going to the gym here and hear the heating thing. It just sound like it's going to fall on top of you.
Doing it at the middle school is the school we want to get rid of. So I would think we'd want to bring the people to those things that we want to fix rather than. Yeah.
So I would say the next best place would probably be the gym at the Broadbrook. I mean, I think the tables aren't the most comfortable in the cafeteria at
the high school?
no, here.
Oh.
Because and you don't want to do the auditorium because I think it'll be a little bit more challenging to engage and people's comfort level to stand up and speak. I'll tell you, noise does not carry well in the high school cafeteria.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
That was my.
In the gym, in the elementary.
Question. Yeah, I know that we have the drop down screen at the middle school. That's a really good question. I don't believe we went
There's a screen on the stage.
at elementary.
Yeah.
Okay.
The community center would be available.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay, so that.
All
I
right. So
can
we have
really
options. I mean, it's a
do the children both.
yeah, it's a group. Does anyone strongly feel about any of the places discussed one way or the other so that
I mean, Noreen made a good point, having it in one of
The
the,
school that we're not gonna use.
Yeah. I think if we could do it at the elementary school, I think that would probably be best to start off with.
I do think the middle school would be the better presentation place, but I agree with Noreen. And really, the community center might not be a bad thing either, because it's the community. You know.
But you know what, I think, and as much as I think that that's a great facility, I think that it would be. So bring people to a place that we just had built. I don't know if that. I don't know if that's, without people understanding the process of this and the process of where that funding came from, I think it could. And I just think in some ways it may be not a good thing.
You mean like, we just built a community center and.
Yeah,
now-
without knowing, like, exactly, without knowing like where all the funding came and not being educated on that, I think it could. But I do think it's a great facility.
If we have community members that haven't been in the schools in a long time.
Yeah.
Going to a new community center.
Yeah.
It's not gonna help.
No.
Oh. Broadbrook School,
Jim's good.
the gym?
Secretary.
I'll call
Thursday.
Oh.
it. Yeah. And I would tell he's always really good as far as accommodating any
Yeah.
school function.
And it's just one night.
It's basketball.
So
Like if you do that, Patrick, if you did like chairs, like kind of rounded a little bit, and then you had someone, that's kind of a way that you're really engaging the audience too. You know what I mean? Like a semicircle of chairs, not total circle. That kind of says a little bit more about how you're speaking to people and engaging people as well.
You know, I think the one, if you do it at a school where there's, you know, some of the articulated needs, it does provide potentially an opportunity to do a little bit of a walkthrough. I don't know exactly about your timing, if that would be realistic or not. But that is one thing that other communities, you know, have done in these types of situations where they've allowed people to see some of the, you know, deficiencies and things that are trying to be addressed around the project. So, just a thought, if that's, you know, could happen before the meeting, it could be integrated into the meeting potentially, it could be optional.
Actually, I like the idea of beforehand.
tour before.
Yeah, like to offer it's optional. Like,
Good for seniors.
You haven't set a date yet, right?
Yeah, we did.
February 26th. So,
Okay, Kyle, let's make sure the heat's on it.
on the, you know, engaging the senior community. You have February vacation this year?
it's the same, it's the Friday and then President's Day, the Monday, and then the Tuesday.
Okay, so could we maybe, set up and work with Melissa on it, but, a tour for the senior center folks to come through the building
Oh,
on that Tuesday?
vacation.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
That way, because they're not gonna come at night.
Yeah.
But you're still, and you and I have been to talk to them about the project conceptually anyway, so give them an opportunity to kind of come and see.
You see any issue with that on that?
And it's not disruptive to schools because
No.
they're out here.
So what are we doing for timing? Do we want to do like a 7 o'clock, 6:30?
Six.
We just put it as a hold on the calendar. I mean, we haven't posted anything.
Oh, but that's why we need to kind of narrow everything down. because-
I think 6 o'clock for the walking tour and 7 o'clock for the program makes some sense. You know, and you're done by 8. Ish.
Do you think for some families, 7 will be too late or no?
May do 6:30.
Could be.
I mean, it doesn't, I mean, for me, it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
What day of the week is it?
Thursday.
Call a snow day for the Friday. Everybody wins.
Probably still have this, you know.
I think a half-hour tour is probably long enough. So 6 would be the tour and then 6:30 maybe.
I would say like do it at 5:40. Advertise it at 5:45. You can definitely
For the
start
tour.
it by 6.
Yeah. Okay.
FRC is not going to 6. FRC is still in the cafeteria till 6.
Yeah. There's not a ton though. They use that, so, yeah.
After school closed, oh no, they're open here.
So getting the message out.
So in the packet, say. Thought there was a draft of my press release.
I didn't see it in the packet.
Last page? No.
I apologize. That was my oversight. Yeah, it is in the links, but,
So we'll do a press release?
yeah,
Are you sending something to the parents?
I was. So I was going to do, email communication along with the text, like, please check your email. Based on feedback from our parents on the previous surveys, they primarily get their information through the website, email and text. I mean, we'll post it on social media as we get closer to. Jason, is there anything you'd like to see us do as far as in conjunction with the town and communication?
I can certainly do it in a call.
Okay.
And I know you have that power too, but we reach very different audiences.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents will, I mean, based on feedback, I don't believe that like there's a high. I mean, Andrea might, but I get the sense people read their email more than listen to a phone message from the schools.
I get all three. so.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask if you could
Yeah.
do.
I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
that would be good because I don't get your call, whereas Dan does. So one of us gets it. I don't know how it's for
So that
everybody.
should cover a lot. Board of Ed.
Well, Patrick, I'm sorry, the school district in general does the Friday afternoon flyer thing. That there's an email distribution list that's got it, you know.
You're a parent, I'm not, I wouldn't get it.
And when we also have a list that whenever, and it's often based on like your different interest areas, but anytime there's an agenda filed or a notice filed or whatever, there's an accompanying email blast that goes out with it.
I get that with my town.
Okay, cool. So. It shouldn't be a secret to anybody. We should have plenty of.
There are people who will think if you didn't come to their living room and read them, the mail yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't have the press release, but I'm assuming that it's fine.
Yeah.
And the last item is establish a process for collecting questions and providing follow-up communications. Are you talking about at the meeting? Is
Correct.
that what we were talking about?
Correct.
So,
I mean, part of that was answered as far as that there be a Q&A right on the spot, but as far as follow-up communication or messaging,
Mhm.
and this could be something ongoing as far as like the meeting following, but proactively wanted to put it on the agenda now.
I think this is an opportunity for us actually to build a list of people who have an interest in this project. So if you're coming in, you know, kindly sign up with your name, your phone number. If you want any follow-up information, kindly sign up with your name, your phone number. And so, you know, get them to opt in to something that we can then use as a means of ongoing communication.
I like that.
yeah,
Yeah, so we'll have
like
some, you know,
yeah.
Do we want to give like a suggestion box, like someone that may not want to approach the audience or may not want to bring anything up to be able to scribble on a piece of paper and put it in there, but still make them sign it and put their email on it so that we can get back to them in some way.
so they can, I believe, have, I believe I'm using the checking on the website myself, doing it this way.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I have to leave. My son's basketball game starts in 2 minutes.
Good luck.
Okay,
See y'all.
See,
thanks for being here.
Looking at Q.
So, yeah, so on, so what we did last time is, we directed them to the website where it says contact us and they can submit any questions directly to me. I will say I've gotten one question. I have. Which pointed out, an error in one of, the dates. It was alumni who had to graduate and said, I know because I graduated prior to that year. But as you can see, I mean, based on the age of the buildings, we're still trying to figure out how old they are.
I was thinking more of like, it's kind of hot in the moment.
Yeah.
So they may have, oh, what about this? And, 4 days from now, they may not even want to bring it up anymore.
Yeah. But we could put that on, the slide deck too, I'm thinking, Liam, as far as like a remind, like for questions that come up. Yep.
So additional questions.
Yep, send them this way.
Yeah, however you want to take questions. If you want to accept them individually, great. Some districts set up sort of like a bond at district email address that can be funneled to like, a variety of people to figure it out. I think a really good idea is to, when you get questions at the forum itself after the fact, map that against the existing FAQs and see if there's new questions that arose.
Yeah.
Great. And then you can work to then update the questions to reflect, those new questions you're getting. And that's actually good practice all the way through an effort like this, constantly, because if you figure if you're getting questions from one person, very likely there's other people out there that may have the same type of question. Not always true, but likely.
But you may get a few, I know being in many audiences, you always hear muttering, and those mutterers don't usually approach the bench. They mutter and go home. That'll be another way to get them to play along.
Yeah, it's also good, when once this starts to move forward, you may also, people who are watching and engaged in the community also may see questions posted in different forums on social media, whatnot. Monitoring that can be that's also good practice, and you can also proactively answer some of the questions you're hearing and seeing out in the community, kind of on your FAQ. You don't want all your communication to be focused solely on trying to answer people's questions, but you do want to have that funnel where people that want to go deep and learn more, a website is a really great clearinghouse for that. And then you can elevate those answers, as appropriate on kind of one-off situations as well. So.
Any other thoughts on that item on the agenda? Then we will go to public participation. Anyone in the public? Yours.
But I really do like the draft of the questions. Because everyone has given a lot and we need to go through them again, but I think that some of the questions are questions that we've had before, we've answered, but I think that these are the things that people are thinking about. So whether we do, just show on one of the slides, we could say, this is a sample of a few of the questions. These are on our website, right? That would say to people, we've had them, we've answered them, we're going to add more to this, and it might encourage people, or I don't know how much you want to copy this kind of stuff. But this is a good example of
I
what
think we were, correct me if I'm wrong, Liam, but we're thinking of some type of deliverable with FAQ, correct? Or no, or was it more just for the website base and directing them? there?
It's mostly for the website. I think it's easiest to sort of direct people there. And you can even do that you could do a separate QR code that would literally take them, if you decided that was something worth doing, directly to that Q&A section of the website. But I think the idea was, let's definitely get those updated on the website before that event. And then, then you can sort of hold the event, take stock of the questions and decide whether.
That, we've been listening and some of the things have been discussed and answered. So we've been listening to you. We're hearing what you're saying. The only other thing, this is kind of a crazy idea, but the only other thing that I was thinking about is these photos are very interesting, right? And I was wondering if you wanted to start with like a very quick activity and you're showing them, like, let people guess where they are, what they are, in terms, it might be a really interesting, fun kind of activity for people. But you could say, hey, guess what, right? Like for 3 minutes, just kind of pop that in. And I think it will get people. You want people to be engaged.
Every school.
You just, yeah, give people, the winner gets, huh?
Do a brick for, oh, I'm done selling pies. Do the sidewalk with bricks. You get a brick for your family. If you guess it.
Something.
I mean, there's pretty colors in this picture, but I don't know that that's I'm not sure that's a good thing. I think that maybe it's not what we want.
Okay, thank you, public. Yes,
Just, the idea of handouts. There's a lot of people in town, me being one of them, who doesn't use QR codes.
Right.
I do not use my phone to get on any kind of app. A lot of people just don't want to do that. So if maybe you just have a handout that people can take it if they want it. If they don't want to take it, they don't take it. As far as those questions go. And a lot of people don't like to go on the internet. Not everybody's using their phone, all of that.
you're saying a handout of the FAQs.
Yeah, maybe just something
Yeah.
people can grab,
It's easy enough.
take it, don't take it, but, yeah, I don't QR code ever.
Could just be index cards and people write it down and somebody collects it ahead of time. So that you have a second to kind of look at it and respond to a few. You don't have to put your name on it. It's anonymous. If they've kind of collected all.
Well, if you do a packet at the end of it, you could have a page at the end and they can just rip it off and.
Take it.
If you do have QR codes, make sure you include the link too, because I know when they're posted on Facebook, if I'm on my phone on Facebook, I can't go to a QR code.
Yeah,
You have
and
to
we
have a
could do, you could do it on the physical website too, to create really short links, or we could also use like a tiny URL or something that just makes it easier for people are just trying to type it or write it down. They can also, it just makes it easier for them than
Oh,
multiple
yes.
brackets.
Because I know a lot of like, some of the Parks and Recs flyers or something like that have had just the QR code and they post it.
Yeah.
I can't do anything with it.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that about QR codes too, because it really is. And I mean, each community is a little bit different, but recognizing that, you want to make this information as accessible as possible and recognizing that, yeah, I mean, a QR code or a website is not necessarily going to meet the needs of every single person. So make sure, like, what's the most critical information people need to know? How do we get that number as close to 100% as possible in terms of getting that information into people's hands? And I do think the idea of setting up some sort of and I don't know about the district systems, if you could create like a community group, but there are ways, sort of a dedicated email list where if someone signs up, let's make sure
They get
maybe not every month now, but as you get closer, every month there's some new information. Hey, we've updated the QR codes, reminder, like, something is scheduled in this date, making sure you communicate with the people that have come forward and expressed an interest. That would be an important thing to do as well.
So one of the things when we're setting up, for the event, we want a table at the entrance for people to sign in, kind of, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yes.
And just comment on the comment about having maybe a card to write down the questions. I've been involved in public forums for projects, and that really is very helpful, especially if you're getting if you're concerned about people coming in and being emotional about a project, it really diffuses, that emotion, and you're just reading, the question and answering the question. It was set up as a way of having a moderator. Write down your question, bring it up to the front, and the moderator would read it and then say, okay, Patrick, you can, this is a question for you, or whoever, the question, might be best, to answer it.
So as Betsy said, we could probably have like index cards or David or somebody, right when they sign in. That's what I was thinking was
Yep.
have index cards, write your questions down if you want something.
And it might be during the course of, so, you're talking and you have your
Right.
index card. It could be in the course of, I'm thinking
Right.
about it, I want to write it down so I don't forget it or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it, it just controls it a little bit. It controls it a little bit more.
Okay, well, this will be fast approaching. Is there any miscellaneous? I think we've covered a lot tonight. And there's nothing further. Liam, did you have anything else you wanted to?
Said more than enough.
Thank you for coming. You came from where, New York?
Philadelphia.
Oh. Thank you for coming up.
It's a little colder up here, but not by much.
No.
I lived in Vermont for a long time, so
Oh, so
it's,
you're-
I'm used to
Your
it.
hearty stock.
Yeah.
Then a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll second.
Motion to adjourn made by Rick, seconded by all those in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Stay on. Just stay.
I mostly got.
All right, anybody?